It's your boy Sino. One more again. I know, right? I know. It's a bit of a problem. He's such a problem. I know. I know. What's good, brother, man? Hip hop has always been the vehicle many of us choose to be our outlet. We know that, right? That was our extension to the world. Hip hop was it. That represented us and everybody who loved it. Anybody who ever spit a verse. Well, you got to look at hip hop in a general for like, okay, this is where we need to be as far as how far we need to go. Not a lot of people, when it came to like rap music, took it seriously. So when we were there, when hip hop came around, it was like at the impetus, the start of it really jumping off. Most of you people were young, so you guys really kind of don't, remember it. You remember it for your time. But it was interesting today because I got to see what happens when younger people having a conversation about hip hop in general. Like what we do, what we listen to. Us being the old, what they call old heads. Y'all old heads. Us being old heads, as they like to say it. How it looks for us to listen to them. So I'm on the outside listening to the conversation. They have no idea I can hear them. You know what I'm saying? I can hear the conversation, and they're trying to listen to old school hip hop. They listening to us. And they were listening to like 90s hip hop, right? And then they was talking about, who basically didn't have it. So when I'm listening to that, I'm like, man, they was like, man, this ain't good at all. They listening to classic because they want to try to see what it's like. So they're trying to win an argument. So they going back playing some, old Tupac. Because that's all they really know in their era is Tupac and Biggie. Tupac and Biggie gets thrown in their face all the time. So they think like that's it. Like basically Tupac, Biggie, and LL Cool J maybe. That was really it. Now the only thing they really vibe with, which is strange to me, is they vibed really well with like Wu-Tang Clan. Don't forget to hit the like button. They vibe real heavy with the Wu-Tang. So I interjected and said, I want to hear what's about this old school track and tell me what you think. I went back to take them to the 80s. I played a couple of songs. I played Top Billin', of course. And it was like, oh yeah, I remember, oh man, and we started talking about the samples and all that. Oh yeah, I get money. Yeah, money I got. Yeah, okay, yeah. To me, that makes an MC weak when he got to bite other people's rhymes and sample them. Why don't they just make their own hook? They always taking somebody else's hook. So again, they told me Pop Smoke was the future and was going to be the savior, and he had the best music in the world. Yeah, but I played that song, then I played Not Having It with Positive K. And right after that song, they had a very interesting take on hip hop. They said, man, why are they always explaining everything? They gotta explain every single thing. Man, they just explain stuff all the time. Old hip hop, man, that's all. Y'all just be explaining all this stuff, man. Everything you listen to it, man, y'all just be. That's all that meant. It's just today's rappers really don't have that much to say. They're just saying words. And I'm like, you just echoed a lot of what I'm trying to explain. An experiment for the past. I'm like, this was a fun experiment for the past. That's part of hip. No, it's just weird how the generation was. Like they loved Luke. Out of all of them that they liked 2 Live Crew. More than old school rap, they like two Live Crew. Sir Mix-a-Lot. So you could tell the bass sound. It transcends time. The bass sound will always extend. The youth relate to the bass. That 808 kick drum. And everybody love NWA. But they never heard MC Ren behind the scenes. I played behind the scenes by MC Ren, the story and everything, and they just laughing. He was like, yeah, that's I like that song. That's hard. Then they put me up on some young guys that they got. You know what I'm saying? Some young rappers that be spitting. And they were surprised that I knew a couple. I'm like, well, I know this guy. You know, I've heard of him before. So I've actually listened to his song. Yeah, I know about Corday. Corday can rap. And they telling me about another dude that could spit. You know, and I'm like, okay, that's cool. I know about him, know about that guy. And some guys, a lot of them I didn't like and said he can't rap. I can tell you that right now. That ain't rapping at all. But all of them like Young Boy. They think Young Boy, all his songs are great. And I'm not a Young Boy, real big fan of NBA Young Boy at all. They was like, he a monster. I'm like, he might be a monster to y'all, but to me, he just isn't it. And what the hell is going on here? That was pretty interesting. Man, they just knocking on my tonight. They got the haters, shake them out, shake them off, shake them off. Get them haters, shake them out. Well, the stage is set. You know, you got a lot of people that, you know, they don't try to have a conversation with the young people to even try to bridge them over or even play some of these songs, they don't realize how long ago Ja Rule was. You know, Ja Rule and 50, that's like almost 20 years ago. It's gonna be 20 years in about 2 years. Ja Rule's already past 20 years. These little kids don't know about dudes like the other guy, you know what I'm saying? His friend's 18. He don't remember Ja Rule like that. And he remember him because of the internet and the beef, but he wasn't even born yet. You got to remember the 2000 generation is only 21 years of age. A lot of people are going to be 21. Those who were born in 2000, the 2000 babies, and old head, they mean 50. They mean Ja Rule. I played Kanye West, and they was like, "Oh, that's that old stuff." I like Kanye new stuff. Like they like the album with Juicy J. He had something with Juicy J. Like they listen to Juicy J album. They think Juicy J is old school, but they like him. Like Juicy J is they guy all day long. Yeah, Juicy J. Yeah, I like Juicy J. I'm like, oh man. Yeah, Doc was a monster. Because everybody, it was an art form back then. Everybody's got like a same songy. You don't know who's who anymore. You know, you could tell J. Cole from Kendrick and Kendrick from Drake, Drake from J. Cole. You could tell the difference. But the Migos, you could tell when it's them because they do it differently. They know how their sound is supposed to be. But you got all these knockoffs that are running around here trying to actually rap like them. It reminds me of the Bone situation. There were a lot of people trying to do Bone records. You had Nas trying to do it. You had all these other rappers. They was trying to experiment with doing it. At least doing one track like that. So that was the new wave. Everybody wanted to be like Bone. You know, back then. Then everybody tried to be like the Migos. So now you can't really tell who is who or what is what. Pretty much. Right. No idea is original. There's nothing new under the sun. But everybody had a distinctive way. Like if you heard Biggie and Nas were different. Biggie, Nas, Jay-Z, Craig Mack, Method Man. You knew they were all different. They were all different. If you listen to the Wu-Tang Clan, you could tell them all apart. They all didn't rap alike. They all had their own personality. Nobody rapped like the Old Dirty Bastard. That's what ended Action Bronson. When Action Bronson was trying to come out, everybody was like, man, this dude trying to rap like Ghostface. He was sounding like Ghostface. Ghostface was like, man, I thought that was me on the record at one point. And the thing is that if you don't have the approval of the person you doing that for, or in front of, and everything else, dog, you might as well cancel that. He went to cooking. Dog, we was talking about people mimicking rappers. I'm talking about people that made it. Magoo was somebody Timberland started out with and realized, okay, you got to get up out of here. Magoo. Hey, thanks, Arthur, for the cash app. Former champ in fantasy. Yeah, I'm going to be ready for y'all this year in fantasy. I always discover new talent. Hip-hop isn't dead. It's just what this is right now that's representing it is not hip-hop. You know, you got all these things that's supposed to be repping it that's not. And that's not hip-hop. Hip-hop is under the source of it. These people are not, they just doing stuff for rapping for money. And they're not even rapping. They just making songs like, yo, that sound like that Migos joint, right? Yeah, okay, good. Let's use that one. Yeah, this is another song sound like Migos. I'll be like, if it sound like the Migos, then why the hell are you doing it? The Migos is already doing the Migos. Why don't you do you? No, the industry has drained it. They put a clamp hole on it and they control it. So the people, there's no more structure in it. I mean, no more because it was a John Doe business. There were so many avenues that they didn't have any control over. And they want to be able to dominate this business just like they dominated every other faction of music. So they dried up all the opportunities, bought up all the little small record companies, and now you got to come up under their umbrella. They're the foreseers, and they're the ones that determine what your music's gonna be, how it should sound, what it should be like. And then they can say, if you don't want to do it, that's okay. We grab young Syrupy Deadhead here, and he's gonna make a new album. You know, and they throw these guys in front of people. Then they get these other drug addict rappers and put them out there, and ex-basketball players who can't hoop anyway, and they got cut from the basketball team, so they say, well, yo, I can rap. And they throw them out there. 6'9" dude, yo, I'm Bluetooth. Like, it's ridiculous. And then the people that's really rhyming, they're not promoting them. Why wouldn't the record company grab them? Those are the guys you should want to get. They can rap. So it was interesting to me when I saw that play out that way. I was very intrigued the way I saw it play out. Because I said, wow, if the record companies, they're all in on it. All these internet companies, the more foolish you are, the more promotional opportunities you will get. All these opportunities that I turned down, all those emails, and I'm like, I'm not really feeling it. No, I don't want to do it. And the reason why I didn't want to do it is because of situations like this. This is why. I didn't want to be a part of people like, man, Cino was doing the truth behind that. Look at him. He sold out. Now he talking about this dude is great. And, man, this dude suck. And then, yeah, Cino lying to us now. Just for the bag. I don't have that in me, you know? I don't have that in me. Y'all know that. I just can't do it. Because I wouldn't feel comfortable. I wouldn't feel right. Don't forget to hit the like button for the real. Hit the like button for the real. But that was interesting. Their take on old school hip hop, 90s and 80s, was that, man, they try to explain a lot. Their take, the youth told me the difference between old school hip hop and hip hop today is we try to explain everything. Man, y'all try to explain everything. And this was right after they listened to MC Lyte, Positive K song, I Ain't Having It. And I said, you know why that is? Because y'all have nothing to say. These guys are just rapping words. They don't mean anything. This song has structure. It's almost like a conversation, right? Man, but that's like every song, man. Y'all like trying to explain everything. I'm like, people don't want to hear all that. I'm like, wow. Then what are you buying the record for? So, so that's the thing, is that they be like, sometimes we just want to vibe and smoke and chill, you know what I'm saying? And just listen to somebody that's vibing with us. I'm like, well, it's too much of that going on now. Thanks, Trill City. In the 90s, those were the guys that came up off of G-Rap, Eric B. and Rakim, the Run DMCs. Those were like the first babies. They were the teenage babies, right? Those were the teenagers that were listening to Run DMC, Ice-T, Kool Moe D's, LL. So they were there when it was first starting. So they were already rhyming as a kid. So those were the first generation of rappers, the Biggies. When you hear Biggie, Nas, all those guys from the 90s, those were the guys who came up when they was shorties, like 8, 9, and 10, or whatever, and started going through their teenage years. Hip-hop was starting to come up in their teenage years. And they were listening to that, and it was the start of it. So they were there when it was like really getting started. So it's their time. They're up the bat. So the 90s had all this energy. And at that time, it had no control, no cap, no real marketing for it. Rap wasn't really on the radio like that. It didn't even have its category really in the awards. They wouldn't accept it. And that's when it was at its best. Because it's raw. It's a raw form. It's areas to create. There's no telling where it could go. Then it affected all cultures, from cars, what people wear, haircuts, the way they dress, the way they style their homes, jewelry, everything. It affected everything in the world as far as marketing. And once the powers that be realized that, they said, this is in my household. My kid loves this. He's brainwashed by this stuff. He's got posters. It used to be a rock band. Now he's got pictures of these guys from the ghetto. So when you change the culture of the world, they realized that this could be a movement. This could change the world. Public Enemy had to get broken up. They became way too powerful. They had so much control. When Fight the Power came out, it scared white folks. The powers that be said, okay, all right, now this record got bigger than what we thought. And that music video of all those black people getting together to march down a street, it's the theme song into a movie. That's starting a revolution. They couldn't have that. Public Enemy had to be broken up. I know, man. But yeah, I got to roll. So I'm going to get out of here. Got to go take care of some things. You know, first of the month, man. I got to make these runs. Got to get them ends. I'm out. Oh, yeah. On Screen Fiend, I got a MCU video coming out. Now, anybody out there, today is the day to sign up for Patreon. It is the 1st. So that's the perfect day to get in, is the 1st. So, and believe me, it's a lot of stuff coming. You're going to know this month, you're going to hear about who's the real Tommy and Ghost from Power. That's coming. So it's a lot of stuff coming. We got part 3 up with the Beyonce situation and all that stuff. All that's done. Patreon has been on fire. We got a lot more stuff coming that's going to blow your mind, and I ain't going to tell you about. It's involving one. I'll tell you who's involving. Johnny Depp. So you're going to want to pay attention to that one. I'm out.